Before starting this case, I would like to say that children have been talked about in this, and I know this thing that a lot of you don't have the appetite to hear something bad about children. So please, if you can't do that thing, just skip this video. Newborn babies, first of all, they are very cute, but newborn babies are a glue that keeps a family together, a glue that brings happiness to their family. And sometimes it so happens that on the birth of a child, a family becomes even more responsible. Children, especially newborn babies, are the apple of their family's eye. But what if a criminal kills this child? What kind of punishment will the law give to that culprit? The criminal is let off without any punishment. So today we are going to talk about such a criminal who committed 3 murders and even after that is roaming freely in the society. A criminal about whom the police knew everything, yet he has not yet gone to jail. Today we are talking about the youngest serial killer in history. So let's learn more about today's case revolve around Amarjit Sada Bihar Begusarai Mushri. 2006, there was a lot of poverty in Begusarai village in the year 2006. People here mostly used to earn their money or make a living by doing labor and carrying palanquins. By the way, carrying palanquin is driving a bullock. I don't know what I call this thing in another language, but carrying palanquin is that so, or at least at that time, but the people here were working very hard every day and earning money to feed their families, and somehow they were managing to survive in Bihar, wherein luxury items like a refrigerator, a car, a bike, a scooter, or even a bicycle were not a priority for these families. Their priority was to eat 2 meals a day properly. Everyone in the family should eat 2 meals a day. So yes, at that time there was a lot of poverty here, but the people here were very good. They used to take care of each other, used to help each other, wherein almost everyone in this village knew each other, or they knew who the family members of this person are, who lives there. Well, these are his friends. At least I just told you 2 things that they did not have money for luxury items, or it was not their priority, and all the people knew each other in this village. These 2 things are very important, so keep the thing in mind. Anyway, among all these families in this village, there was a family whose name was Sada. In the Sada family, many people were blood related. So, aunts, maternal uncles, aunts, grandparents kind of, and all these people's houses were very close to each other. So in a way, they were like a joint family. Like in a joint family, many people live together. Many families live together. Maternal uncles, aunts, your uncles and aunts live together. Similarly, these people were like that. Their houses were very close and separate. This kind of reminds me of my grandmother's house because my maternal aunt's house is close to my grandmother's house. My maternal uncle's house, my 3 aunts live there. In fact, all of their houses are at a walking distance. And similarly, the family members of the Sada family also had houses. So the children in this entire family knew each other very well. Despite being cousins, they were always with each other. They used to play together, go out for a run or even to pass some time. All of them used to call their cousins. And what can be better than this when your siblings are your true friends? So the environment here was such that everyone lived together. Even if there was poverty here, everyone lived together. And to be honest, there was a very happy atmosphere here, but not for long. One day, suddenly in this family tree, a 6-year-old girl from the Sada family disappears. This girl was always seen playing by the people in the neighborhood. So when she disappeared, the neighbors felt a little strange. All the people of the Sada family inquired in the neighborhood that, have you seen our daughter anywhere? Was she playing somewhere near your house? And seeing all this, the children of the Sada family were scared. They were thinking that, where has our sister, our cousin's sister gone? And now because children are like that, when something strange happens, they started to freak out. So they either started crying or they started getting scared in the house itself. And the rest of the family members of Sada family, uncles, aunts, maternal uncles, to save their children, told them to stay inside the house from now on and not go out to play, which is understandable. Parents can take such measures to save their children. Now, as I said, everyone in this village knew each other and everyone helped each other. So when this 6-year-old girl of Sada family disappeared, it is obvious that all the villagers came to help them, and at least a small portion of people who lived around the house of Sada family, because now it was not only the responsibility of Sada family, but it became the responsibility of all the people around them to find this girl. So on the first night of the girl getting lost, the villagers started looking for the girl in small groups. But then a strange thing happened. The head of that family, so the head of the family, told all the villagers that now you should stop looking for our girl. We will find her ourselves. So one day passed, and the next morning the head of this family told the villagers that it was very weird because neither were they going to the police to get their daughter's missing report, nor were they allowing the villagers to search for their daughter. They told the girl, not an older girl, to a 6-year-old girl, that they should not search for her anymore. We will look after her ourselves. But none of the villagers who were searching for her said anything to the family. They thought that maybe their children would be scared. That is why they did not want us to form such a big group. And this thing was true. The children were scared there, and the women of the house were also scared. So maybe that is why the head of the family would have taken this decision. So without troubling these people much, without asking them too many questions, the villagers left the family on their own. This does not mean that the villagers did not want to help them. They were just respecting them in a way, again, a very important decision regarding their decision. This point will also come forward. Now, on one hand, the villagers and the Sarda family were also waiting for their 6-year-old daughter to return. And on the other hand, there was a very depressing atmosphere in the village because they could not even ask them whether they got to know anything about their daughter or whether they got to know where they last saw their daughter. People actually cared about this family. People cared about everybody there. But people actually cared about this family. That is why they did not want to trouble them. But in the midst of all this, a good news came to the Sarda family. And that was that a little girl was born in their family. This was a much-needed happiness for them because they almost felt that when one daughter was gone, God sent another daughter to their doorstep. And the whole family, they were like a joint family, as I said, so the whole family was now celebrating. Again, their neighbors brought small clothes for this little girl and gifts for her. They brought her and gave her to the daughter-in-law of that house. And they were helping the Sarda family in other ways. Also, for a few days, they drove their bulls. For a few days, they also harvested the crops from their fields. Village people were just doing anything that they could do to ease their pain, just to help their family. So in a way now, their family had become normal again. But suddenly something happened again. Just 3 months after the birth of this girl, the girl disappeared. And now no one could understand anything because at this point, 2 children from the same family had disappeared. Where did they go? What was the connection in their disappearance? No one knew anything. But once again, the head of the Sarda family told everyone in his family that the news of this girl's disappearance should not be known to the villagers. But now if a child goes missing from the house, it is obvious that everyone will notice. So the villagers also started looking because no sound of crying was coming from the house, and neither was the Sarda family able to pay much attention to themselves. When they used to go out of the house, rumors were spreading among the villagers, but no one said anything to the Sarda family, nor did they ask anything to the Sarda family. The villagers did not ask them out of respect, but the Sarda family never mentioned those 2 girls in their entire life. It was almost like these 2 girls were never in their family. So 4 months passed, 5 months later, everything was going back to normal. People were slowly forgetting that 2 girls had ever disappeared from this house, and the Sada family was also slowly going back to work. But then suddenly a girl disappeared from the village again. One more girl. But this time, this girl was not from the Sada family. There was a 9-year-old girl in the village whose exact name was not known, but according to news articles, the girl's name was Kushi. Kushi had started going to school that year, and her mother used to work at Kushi's house, so she would always drop Kushi to school in the morning, then do her work and return home. While returning, she used to bring Kushi home, but on that day in 2007, when Kushi's mother Daviji was returning home, she did not see Kushi at the school gate. Daviji obviously started getting worried when she did not see her daughter. And the first thing that came to her mind was that, like the children of a simple family, has her daughter also disappeared somewhere. So she was panicking, but unlike a simple family, she asked for the help of the villagers, and the villagers also left everything and started helping Daviji in finding her daughter. They kept searching for Kushi the whole day, and because the news was spreading, people from outside the village were also joining in. So everyone was now searching for Kushi. But even after searching for the whole day, there was no trace of Kushi. And then in the end, when Daviji did not get any clue related to her daughter, then tired and exhausted, she thought it right to go to the police station. And after going there, she filed a missing person report for her daughter because a 3-year-old girl had disappeared. The police got active very quickly, and they came straight to Kushi's house near Deviji's house. And as soon as they reached there, without wasting any time, they started looking for this child or started looking for clues about her. But then for the first time, the police of Begusarai came to know that Kushi is not the first girl who has disappeared from here, who has disappeared from this village. Two girls have already disappeared from this village. So they thought that maybe there is some connection between these two children and Kushi too. So they directly reached the house of Sada family. And on seeing the policeman, the Sada family got a little nervous. At first, the policeman scolded the Sada family that, when your daughter is missing, when your two daughters are lost, then why did you not tell the police station about this? On this, the head of the Sada family said that, Sir, we did not want that our family's name gets spoiled in the society. After this, the policeman asked them that, do you know anything about Kushi's disappearance? At first, everyone remained silent, but then suddenly they heard a voice from another house. I told you. You guys right? There was a joint family, so all the houses were nearby. So they heard a voice from a nearby house that if anyone can help you find Kushi in the whole village, then it is him. And a woman brought a child forward from that nearby house. And the name of this child was Amarjit Sada. So a mother brought her child forward. That child came in front of the police. But as soon as Amarjit reached there, something was off about him. He was not talking. He was not responding. In fact, he was just looking straight at the police. The police were asking him questions like, do you know Kushi or do you play anywhere around here? He was not answering anything. He was just staring at them, and whenever the police were taking Kushi's name, he was laughing at them. After which, the police felt that this child is wasting our time. We should have left from here. We could have found the school. Who knows if we get any clue in the school? Then the police would have left from there. They were about to do that when Amarjit stopped them and said that, if you give me a packet of biscuits, I will surely tell you where Kushi is. Now, the little kid who was just laughing creepily on seeing the police. First of all, he said that, and the second thing was that now he was telling the police that he will tell the full address of Kushi. So the policeman gave an intrigue and they quickly brought biscuits for Amarjit, after eating which this 8-year-old Amarjit told them that you just come with me. I will show you where Kushi is. The policemen were quietly following Amarjit, and Amarjit took them to a ground-type area where there were a lot of bushes and wild grass. And after going there, Amarjit pointed towards the grass lying on the ground. Now, looking at this grass, it was clear that someone has broken it and planted it here to hide something. But as soon as the policeman lifted that grass, in front of their eyes was the dead body of Kushi, which was completely soaked in blood. The policeman could not understand that she was here. What happened? Kushi had died in just one day, and how did this 8-year-old child know that her body was here? And moreover, Amarjit was still laughing after seeing Kushi's body. So the policeman thought it right to catch him and take him to the police station. And they took him there and started interrogating him. Now, the policeman did not say anything about Kushi. He just kept laughing and kept quiet. And at last, the policeman told him that please tell us everything truthfully about Kushi. So Amarjit said the same thing again, that if you give me a packet of biscuits, then I will tell you everything truthfully about Kushi. So the same thing happened again. The policeman brought a packet of biscuits for Amarjit, and while eating biscuits, without any fear, Amarjit told them that, I have killed Kushi. Actually, in his exact words, that I have put Kushi to sleep. Amarjit was roaming near Kushi's school that day, and when he saw Kushi and recognized her, he brought Kushi to this field. This is unclear that Amarjit and was there any relationship between him and Kushi before, or they both knew each other. But he brought Kushi from school, and after coming there, he pressed Kushi's throat very hard, so hard that Kushi stopped getting oxygen, and she fainted, after which Amarjit did not find it satisfying, and he started hitting Kushi with a brick lying nearby. Kushi started screaming due to the pain of the brick, and after that, he started hitting Kushi with the brick even harder. Police could not believe it. This 8-year-old child confessed his crime in front of them without any fear. And on hearing all this, a question came in their mind, that did you kill those other 2 children? They were even having to say this because these girls were from his family. They were from his family, but again, Amarjit confessed that yes, he killed those 2 children, just like Kushi. Not those 2 children, but he killed his sisters in the same way. This was a huge shock to them because there was a smile on Amarjit's face. There was no regent, no sad person, He was just enjoying his biscuits and was telling everything to the police honestly. After this, the family members were called to the police station, and they too accepted their sons and their own crime. Actually, what happened was that Amarjeet killed Kushi in the same way as he killed his first cousin, who was 6 years old. But since Amarjeet was only 7 years old at that time, his dad, the head of the family, did not want his son's future to be ruined because of a murder. So he thought it right to suppress this matter within his house. After the first night, when he came to know that Amarjeet had done all this, he told his family members that no one would talk about this to the villagers, otherwise our son would go to the police station. Then when he killed his younger sister for the second time, his own sister, then his dad was even more scared. He did the same thing again, told his family members in the same way. He told all the family members that no one would talk about this outside. But now Amarjeet's own father was afraid of him, and Amarjeet's mother had started hating him, but still, they did not let this matter out of their family. But when Kushi died, they felt that enough was enough, and that is why Amarjeet's mother brought him in front of the police. If you remember, the lady who had come from the nearby house had herself pushed Amarjeet forward. So to hide this killing spree of Amarjeet, his family members had helped him, which is a crime in itself, and action was taken against his entire family for this. As far as Amarjeet is concerned, since he was just 8 years old at that time, he could not be put in a normal jail, but he was put in a special arrest where he was made to meet many psychiatrists and human behavior researchers. Amarjeet's entire family was poor, so they had never seen TV in their life. So there was no influence of violence and murder in his head ever, because when you have not seen something in your life, then its influence cannot be felt. Where would it come to you from? So, while killing these children, he did not know what it means to take someone's life, or what is the consequence of taking someone's life. But even then, he had no influence of media, social media, anything. How did he get to know how to kill someone? And also, when Amarjeet was telling all these things, then only this thing was implied, that when he killed by strangulating, then he did not feel satisfied, happy from within. Why did these tendencies develop into him at such a young age? To know this, psychiatrists and people who were into human behavior came to meet him, but nobody got any answer to anything. After all, how did these killer tendencies come into Amarjeet? In 2016, when Amarjeet had turned 18, he was moved to another city with a new name and a new identity, because according to the time he had spent in special arrest, he had now become fine. But if he went back to the society with the same name or in the same place, people lived in fear of him. That is why the court took the decision to give him a new identity. Today, no one knows where Amarjeet is. No one knows how he looks. It could also mean that he is watching my video. You never know. But this case gives me an idea because till date we do not know the reasons behind Amarjeet's killings, his motive. And we also do not know from where he learned all this. Where did all these tendencies come from in him? But with this, the case of Amarjeet Sada ends here.